Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here, and today we're going to be talking about a new gun and new build here for the channel, the Beretta 92 INOX, or Enox, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. So before I begin though, I'd like to send a big thank you out to everyone who has liked, commented, and subscribed on the previous videos. I always appreciate it and always enjoy talking to you guys. But if you're new here to the channel, welcome. If you enjoy this video, enjoy this type of content, please consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And with the PR out the way, let's get into it. So the Beretta 92 INOX, or Enox, I'm just going to call it INOX from this way forward, so I don't have to keep saying two words. So first thing, safety check, empty, oh cool. So, the Beretta 92 INOX. Nice gun, and as you can see, I've already kind of customized it because there is one glaring mistake that Beretta has done. Now, this gun was made in 2021. It is a, excuse me, it is a new production, and the older ones did not seem to have this, and that is the grips. Guys, I cannot stress enough how terrible and how much I hate these grips. For one, they, I think, just ruin the aesthetics and look of this gun. Black grips are nothing wrong with this gun, but these ones in particular, they just don't work. First of all, they have a very, I don't know if you can see it here, a very football, try to turn it up a bit, very football-esque texture to them and feel to them, which isn't the best. They're very hard. They're, you know, they look like rubber, but they're not. They are the original ones, you know, made in Italy, but they just don't feel good. They just lack a certain texture, just a texture grip to them and just feel to them for, you know, a Beretta. And I think the earlier generations did a quite better job at it. And with that being said, huck those right in the trash. First thing. Don't care what you get. Don't have to be these, but that's just my humble opinion. Worst part about this gun. Second little offset thing I just want to give you guys a heads up in, and this may be me being crazy, but you gotta let me know in the comments, is I believe that these guns are machined all a little bit differently. Now, I know most guns are machined differently, each one from the next, but these ones seem to have a greater amount of variation. Let me explain. The scalloping, the undercutting, you know, like this machining here, whatever you want to call it, I've noticed that two things. One, that this line right here does not kind of perfectly perpendicular. Like, it doesn't line up to this line up here. It sometimes goes a little bit skewed off. And with that being said, sometimes it seems like in order to correct that, they leave a little bit of material here, and it seems like it goes more along this line and then kind of feathers out. And then sometimes it goes up a little bit instead of kind of staying pretty much flat. Now, it's just something I've noticed that it pictures, it kind of exaggerates it a bit. But overall, this is 100% a gun I'd recommend you see in person, you feel in person, and not just buy it online. Now, if you buy it online, of course, just make sure it has a good return policy, etc., because this is, I've noticed they have so many variations in these guns, that being one of them. Another part is with this lower piece, this the lower frame of the gun, the feel of it, it doesn't feel as polished as you would think. Now, most Berettas are buttery smooth. This one, again, no exception, you know, works perfectly fine. Still brand new, so still a little stiff. However, the lower finish here, you would feel it when you pick up this gun, that it had some, the aluminum did not feel like it was perfectly sanded down and perfectly smooth. It still felt sort of rough. And there was 3 guns. There was 1 on display and 2 in the bag. This is one of the 2 that was in the bag because the first one had that feeling. It just didn't feel right. Second one kind of had the little hump, and this is kind of the third or Goldilocks one. And, you know, I saw it in person. I was like, hey, you know, to the shopkeep, am I losing my mind? He's like, no, they do have a little bit of variation between them. I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And being that it's, you know, made in 2021, who knows, you know, quality might have gone down versus the previous models. And of course, with these grips, maybe not surprised, but still is a good gun. And that's just kind of one idiosyncrasy, I would say, to be on the lookout for. Now, other than that, it's a standard Beretta, made in Italy, because I believe if you buy a Beretta, you should buy it made in Italy. Sue me. That's just my opinion. I don't care even if it's, even my M983, I waited almost 2 years for that because I wanted a made in Italy one. I believe they're made better. Sorry, that's just something that I've noticed. They don't have the same kind of quality control and things like that, like, you know, how Glock has versus their Austrian versus USA facility. But this INOX, it is, of course, stainless steel, as you can see here, PB stainless. The gun is unloaded. So you can see stainless in the front there. And that kind of serves a good purpose. One, of course, it just makes it look cool. But two, it also makes it very good for a saltwater environment. And that's why we can see this gun shining. As, of course, being the geeky nerd here. And if you've watched my channel for any time, you know that I buy a lot of guns based on movies or just mechanical aspects of them. This one, of course, being a movie, because one of my I'm not going to say favorite of all time movies, but a movie I truly like is called Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey, where he's on an island, beach, kind of tropical paradise. And one of the bad guys, pulls out a Beretta 92 INOX to kind of finish Matthew off. And in that aspect, I don't know, it just looked cool, kind of the tropical paradise, and this gun fits for that role, and in my opinion will make a perfect boat gun. We have truck guns and boat guns, being that, of course, it has Beretta reliability, and it's all stainless, so you shouldn't really have to worry about rust as much. Now, the gun, I'll flip it over here. You guys see the 2021 date marking, and, of course, the action smooth trigger, has standard Beretta trigger, hits a wall, about a 4 or 5 pound brake, reset, a little bit out there, a little bit take up, fire again. The double action is very long. I'd say at least 10 pounds, maybe 9, if I'm being generous here. And this is the decocker safe model. So when it is cocked, you bring the safety down all the way, makes the gun safe, which I love. I love this about Berettas. The fact that it fully deactivates the trigger. I just think that's a nice little feature. It just kind of works. It's just a classic feature of Beretta. And then, of course, once you flip back up, you're ready for that double action again. Now, with all of that being said, overall, no regrets on the gun. Just make sure you look at them to know what you're getting. Because there seems to be a greater degree of variation in QC with these guns than other ones. Will the other ones work? Yeah, sure, no problem. But I just, if you're paying $700 for a gun, 600, 700, whatever it is, you want to make sure that it's kind of up to snuff. And with that being said, I'm going to move on to the next piece, which is the build, which I need your guys' help to facilitate this, because I'm having a darn hard time. And if you stuck around this video for this long, thank you. Now, this gun, I'm planning on doing a Joker build. Now, what I mean by that, if you guys have seen, any type of the Joker's guns, not counting Heath Ledger's, but previously, he has kind of a lot of flash, a lot of flare, the video games, movies, things like that. And, of course, I love the Joker. And he has a certain design to his guns. You may like it or hate it, excuse me, but in the movie The Suicide Squad, with Jared Leto, he kind of embodied some of that aesthetic. Yes, I know people say you don't like him. I didn't like him myself, but his guns kind of did have a certain little flair to them. And with that, you can kind of see where I'm already going with this. I replaced it with these Perlite grips. They were about $50 on eBay. You could just search white pearl grips, Beretta 92, and you'll find them. With that being said, they are slick. They don't really offer too much texture, but they do look a lot better, and they do feel a lot better, at least compared to those hunks of crap previously. Now, what I'm generally trying to do with this gun is make it a gold, kind of gaudy, but not so gaudy theming. Essentially, I'm looking to get a purple base plate for the magazine to match this kind of medallion down here. Replace these screws, the slide release, the takedown lever, the trigger, the safety, and the hammer, and the magazine release, and maybe even the lanyard, with gold accent ones. Now, excuse me, I have been desperately searching for titanium nitride ones or gold plated ones, not solid gold, obviously not made out of money, ones. And it's been hard. I saw on eBay that there was one individual who was selling just those parts I was just talking about for $550. Yes, they're gold plated, but come on, dude. Like $550 just for some, pieces. And, obviously I'm not going to pay that. And then sending it off to a shop, it gets quite expensive as well. So I'm on the desperate hunt for one. And I'm using the power of the citizens of YouTube, all 1,000 of you guys, or hopefully more by the time this video gets up, to facilitate that, hopefully. And of course, I'll pay you for your time, pay you for the parts, and, we can make something happen. So if you happen to find something that is, gold of those parts for a Beretta 92, let me know. Or if you guys know somebody of a service that's, of course, reasonable, put it in the comments. I'd be more than happy to, to take you up on that offer. And that's going to be that, guys. Hope I can show you this build here sometime soon, barring I find the parts. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And I hope everyone's having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.